Well, maybe no one's going to come on. I don't know. Maybe I got to go to TikTok first and bring people over. I got a like. What's up, Sophia? It says I have a like, but it doesn't show a viewer. Oh, no, I have 2 likes. Oh, and 1 viewer. So I don't know what it's doing to me up here, showing me all that. Glad to see someone in here. I was sitting here for about 90 seconds without anybody in here. But I'll give it another minute or 2. Now let's kind of get started, I guess. I decided to do something a little different today. Usually I start on TikTok and then I bring people over. Today I thought, you know what? I'm just going to start right here on YouTube. Probably less people on here. Not that there's ever a lot of people. Have you heard of Richard Hart? I have definitely heard of Richard Hart. Mr. Pulse Chain, Mr. Oh shit, what was that coin before it? What's his other coin? Pulse Chain, but before that he had, he's made a lot of money. And he's not a dumb guy. You're welcome, FishX. Thanks for being here. He's not a dumb guy. He's just, he's just not for me. Do you think we get a pullback on ETH now? Maybe even a local top? I mean, could be. I mean, if you're a trader, that's a very relevant thing to be looking at. Otherwise, most of you probably aren't. And to me, it seems like we're just in an uptrend. And uptrends aren't straight lines up. They're up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. You know what I mean? But very possible we get a pullback. Plus, one thing that's really interesting, maybe I'll pull that up here real quick, is, well, let me show you first the most important thing. This is the lifetime Bitcoin chart. This one goes all the way back to 2009, okay? Look at this, high, low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and now we're in a higher high phase. Bitcoin, its entire existence has been in nothing but an uptrend. It has never been in a downtrend. Yes, it has corrections, but they still remain making higher lows, higher low, higher low, higher highs. Remember that. It's one of the most important things to remember here. That's the forest for the trees. It's the big picture. It's the zoom out. Is that Bitcoin in particular is in nothing but an uptrend. There is no actual Bitcoin bear market. There are only periods of correction that we refer to as a cyclical bear market. Very, very important to understand that. And I'll get into the mathematics of that very soon and how that is something to really, really, really remember, especially at least over the next 10 years. So that's Bitcoin. But let me show you something here real quick. Someone was asking about, you think we get a pullback? Maybe, but be careful. If you're asking for a pullback, be careful what you ask for, because they're always very uncomfortable. What's interesting here, let me show you something a little kind of scary. Where's this here? So let me draw a trend line. Let me see if I got this right. Let's see here. So we're kind of in this is the .com bubble back here, okay? And here's where we are today, right? We came up here, almost touched it in 2021, and then, here we are coming at that line again. So to me, this is some pretty major resistance, and it's gonna be pretty hard for the stock market to flip this line here, okay? Gonna be pretty hard for the stock market to flip this line. So when it comes up here, it's like, to me, it's hard for this to push higher. So if you follow this out to maybe the end of the year, it looks to me like maybe by the end of the year, maybe it's at 65, maybe 6,600, something like that. But if it can go above this line, if it can make its way above this line and actually close above it, this is the S&P 500, by the way, then that's very, very bullish, right? That's just a very good thing, for your bags, mine too. But this is just something that I've been paying attention to that really makes me wonder, like this goes back to the .com bubble. That was the financial crisis, the real estate bust. And then we came up here, ran all the way up. We ran all the way up from March 2009 to January of 2022. That's where the high was made back then, 4,800. And now we're at 63, right? And then we had that pullback in 2022 with all the inflation scares and stuff like that. Hex, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, it's right in your name. You're Pulse Hex, so you definitely like Richard Hart. Hex, that's right. Hex made a lot of people a lot of money, but I think those days are certainly behind us. But it's just something that I watch here, and that to me, you're like, well, that's not crypto. I'm like, yeah, but crypto can't really go up unless the stock market's going up. Frankly, nothing can really go up unless the stock market's going up. Bonds, I guess, not really. I mean, you can buy better bonds, but really, it's interesting. When interest rates on a bond market go up, that's actually a bond bear market. What? Interest rates on bonds are going up, but yet it's a bear market? Drop in the comments if you know why that is, right? Maybe you don't even understand treasury bonds and treasury bills. Very important to understand that because it's a major component of the overall macro financial market. So have we started the alt season? No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. There's no indication that that's what's going on. When you're in altcoin season, and again, it's very possible it's very possible that we literally never again. And this is very unpopular, and you're not going to want to believe it. You're probably not even going to want to consider it. You're probably going to want to just write me off. But it's very possible we never, ever, ever again have an altcoin season that resembles what we've had in the past, right? 2017, I was around here for that. That was the craziest altcoin season we're ever going to see. But it's important to understand that there were way less coins back then. And that is so important to understand, right? There were probably 1/10,000th less coins than there are today. And I literally mean that, maybe less, seriously. So all the money really only has a few choices, and so everything just goes up. And in reality, you really only had about 4 major choices back then. You had Bitcoin, Litecoin, XRP, and ETH. That was it. Those 4 coins right there made up like 97% of the entire market, money-wise. Like 97 cents of every dollar was in those 4 coins. So you couldn't help it. Like you couldn't miss. In 2021, it became more diluted. There was probably, 1,000th of the coins there are today. So the money, got more distributed, more spread out, spread more thin than it did in 2017. But there was still room for a very nice altcoin season. And I can show you what I mean by the altcoin season. You can actually measure it. What we really want to look at is Bitcoin dominance. In other words, how much money is in Bitcoin compared to the total crypto market, right? So for every dollar in crypto, how much of it is in Bitcoin? And whatever that is, that's Bitcoin dominance. And in 2017, we were all the way up at like 96%. So 96 cents of every dollar in crypto was in Bitcoin. And then during altcoin season, Bitcoin dominance fell to like 36%. So 36 cents out of every dollar was in Bitcoin. And that means instead of 3 cents of every dollar up here being in altcoins, all of a sudden, like 64 cents of every dollar was in altcoins. And there were way less altcoins than there are today. I mean, literally probably at least 1/10,000th of what there is today. Seriously. There's less money, got up, but not, the ratio doesn't, no. Because we got up to a total market cap of about 750 billion. And today, we're sitting at about 4 trillion, right? So 2, 3, 4, it's only about a 5x more money than what was in 2017 in the total market. But yet, there's 10,000 times more coins. So the money's just way more spread out and thin. So to have an altcoin season where all altcoins just shoot up hundreds of percent, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 X's. It just can't happen because there's way less liquidity to push it all up. There will be your slight outperformers, but they are so incredibly hard to find. Incredibly hard to find. So what point am I making? The point I'm making, again, is that the altcoin season, right, it will not, very, very extremely low probability, it will look like altcoin seasons of the past. So when I say things that are unpopular and I go, we may never have a true altcoin season the way we've had them in the past, we may never have that again because the math just doesn't add up. We don't have the money in the market to move coins as voraciously as we did in the past compared to how many coins there are. Does that make sense? Maybe I'm going on a tangent. Put a 1 in the chat if that makes sense. Put a 2 if you need me to elaborate on that a bit more. Let me know. Drop in the comments. Hit the like button if you haven't, please. Sophia says 2, so she doesn't understand. That's okay. Most people don't. But most people think they do understand, yet they don't. So at least you know you don't understand. Sophia's the only one that's going to answer. Could you guys, we got like 10 people on here, but 2 thumbs up. Could a few of you go hit the thumbs up button? We're going to get into some good stuff today. We already got into some really good stuff today, right? I'm not going to sit here and say, go buy this coin. That's not going to help you. That's not going to help you. Understanding the way these markets move as an engine is going to help you. And that's what I really teach. I sit here and I view and look at and teach and talk about the way the market moves as an engine, all the levers and pulleys and pistons and igniters and brakes and all that stuff. An engine. These markets are an engine, and they all move together in different things. If this happens, then this happens. If that happens, then this happens. If this doesn't happen, then that happens, and that doesn't happen. And all these things. Instead of, what coin's gonna make me effing rich, bull? Tell me you have low IQ without telling me you have low IQ. You know what I mean? So I hope you guys can really appreciate this stuff here because this is really helping you understand how it all works. And that's what I talk about all the time. So when I was talking about altcoin season, look at this. Let me show you this. So this is that Bitcoin dominance I was talking about, right? Right now it's at 60, a little over 60. That means for every dollar in crypto, a little over 60 cents is in Bitcoin. That's what Bitcoin dominance is, okay? That's what dominance is, period. Back here, let's go to February of 2017. Bitcoin dominance was at 96.25%. That means over 96 cents of every dollar in crypto was in Bitcoin. And what happened? This. Bitcoin dominance fell like crazy. It fell from 96 in February down to, in January of 18, so 10 months later, down to as low as 35%. Went from 96 to 35. In this period right here, what do you think happened to Bitcoin price? What do you think happened to Bitcoin price right here? When it went from 96 in February to, in March, to 35 in the following January, over a 10-month period. What do you think happened to Bitcoin price? Did it go up, down, or sideways? Drop in the comments. Please hit the thumbs up if you haven't. Seriously, it's so easy. If you can't at least give a thumbs up for all the juice I'm giving you, you're fucked in life. Because if you can't even give a little bit to someone giving so much to you, your life's fucked. So what do you think happened to Bitcoin price? Sophia says down. Don't be afraid to be wrong. Just take a shot. Thumbs up. Awesome. You know, Wasim, that's interesting. If you do the thumbs up emoji like that, does it automatically give a true like button push? It might. Interesting. All right, no one's answering, right? So again, Bitcoin dominance in February of 2017 was at 96%. And by January of 2018, 11 months later, it was down to 35%, right? So that means 96 cents out of every dollar in crypto was in Bitcoin. And then it went down to 35 cents of every dollar over 11 months. And my question to you is, what happened to Bitcoin price in that time period? Did it go up, down, or sideways? Sophia is the only one courageous enough and cool enough to answer. The rest of you are sitting there picking your nose, man. Come on. Take a guess, take a shot. Well, here's what happened to Bitcoin price between February 17 and January 2018. In February 2017, Bitcoin price was around $1,000. The low of that month was $859, the high was $1,220. Okay? Now let's go to January. Well, let's look at December. Bitcoin went all the way up to almost $20,000. So Bitcoin price went from $1,000 to $20,000 from February to January. Yet its dominance fell from 96% to 35%. Do you know what that means for altcoins? Bitcoin dominance from 96 to 35. It had a decrease of like 60%. Well, more than that. That means altcoins went up like at least 3 times as much as Bitcoin. 10 times as much. That's insane. That's never going to happen again. And then the next altcoin season, let me find dominance again. Where is it? The next one right here, here's December of 2020. Bitcoin dominance is at 73.63%. And then it falls off a cliff by May. Goes all the way down to 40. Actually, I know it went down to 39. There we go. So it went from 74 to 39. And what happened to Bitcoin price between December 20 and May 21? Let's look. Let's see here. Let's find December of 2020. It went from a low of $14,000 to May, almost $65,000. So it went up over 4x. Yet its dominance fell off a cliff. That means altcoins massively outperformed Bitcoin. If Bitcoin went up 4x from right here, what do you think would happen to the altcoin market? It'd go up a lot. But what if it went up like 3 times as much as Bitcoin did? See, that first altcoin season back in 2017, Bitcoin went from $1,000 to $20,000. And altcoins did about 5 to 10 times more than that. Okay? That's the biggest altcoin season there's ever going to be. That's not speculation. That's not a guess. That's not an opinion. That's a mathematical fact. Those conditions cannot happen again. If they did, that means the entire world, looking at the engine, would be in disgustingness. I mean, it would be an absolute Mad Max, everything is in hyperinflation, crazy Weimar Germany stuff. Okay? And then the next altcoin season in 21, Bitcoin went up about 4x, a little over 4x, and altcoins, about 4.5x really. And altcoins went up about 3 to 5 times more than that. So this time, if we get a true altcoin season, which is Bitcoin dominance dropping big time, and we'll look at where we're at today. Hit the thumbs up if you're digging this. Hit the subscribe button too, and turn on notifications so you get notified when I go live. Because if you're just hopping on right now, you're like, wait, I just got here. What's going on? I can't start over for you. I'm in a roll. everyone that's been here is on the roll. They don't want me to start over. So it's good to be here at the beginning. So that's what an altcoin season looks like. That's the first ever altcoin season. Bitcoin dominance falling like crazy. Yet Bitcoin price is skyrocketing, even though dominance is falling, because altcoins are going up way faster than Bitcoin. That was the first ever. It's the biggest one there'll ever be. This was the second altcoin season. This is also the second biggest one there will ever be. We will not have one that big ever again. We will not have that one that big ever again. Okay? This one will be smaller than this. And this is a big one. This one's going to be smaller. It'll be smaller than this and way smaller than this. In other words, we're looking for Bitcoin dominance to drop. Now, Bitcoin dominance bottomed in November of 22, right after the FTX collapse, okay? All the way down here at about 40%. And then it's been going up ever since. And we've been waiting for this to happen. This true breaking of structure, this true altcoin season, right? Let's go back here and look, right? Bitcoin dominance bottomed in January of 2018, and it went up. It kept going up. It made its final higher high right here in December, at the end of December in 2020. Do you get that? January of 2018, December of 2020. So Bitcoin dominance went up for just under 3 years before it finally fell off a cliff into altcoin season. And we bottomed here, about November of 22. And we've been going up ever since. Our current highest high is June of 25. Where are we? We're about 3 years. We're about 3 years of Bitcoin just making a continual higher high. And check this out. This time, where this was more kind of crazy, and this was a fake out altcoin season right here. This was DeFi summer. That's what that was. Look. DeFi summer. So this is a fake out altcoin season. One more pop up and then everything went crazy. Okay. Now, this was a little fake out we had right here. Let me zoom in here. Because this particular Bitcoin reaccumulation of dominance, which always happens after the bear market for about 3 years, has been very uniform, staying in this channel. As a matter of fact, it's been in this channel since May of 2023. It's been in this channel for over 2 years, almost 2.5 years. It had one little deviation here. And I want to be very clear with you. Look at this. Touch, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top. And it was like, oh my God, altcoin season, here we go. Guess when this was? Right after Trump got elected. And things went crazy. It deviated outside of the channel, right? But think of it like a rubber band. When you pull a rubber band, by the way, go to that link if you're smart. When you pull a rubber band, the further you pull it, what happens when you finally let go? The more tension you put on it, the more it shoots back, right? That's what happened here. It was stretching its way out of this channel, and what happened? Rubber band, boom, broke out of the channel to the upside, snapped it back. And then we've been riding around up here, and now here we go, finally hitting the bottom of it, trying to break down below it. Until this breaks down from here and confirms a breakdown. Didn't confirm here, and it has not confirmed yet. Until this confirms, nobody should be screaming altcoin season. As far as I'm concerned, right now, this might be a good time to sell some stuff. He said the dirty word. Sell? Never. That's why most people don't make any money in crypto, because they never sell. If they do, it's at the bottom. So not a bad idea to take profit when this 3-year frickin' channel, 3-year reaccumulation, 2.5-year channel comes down and touches the bottom. What's happened every other time? Touch the bottom, good time to sell. Touch the bottom, good time to sell. Touch the bottom, good time to sell. Am I saying sell? No. But it's not a bad idea to take some profit, because you're probably up on a lot of your positions if you were buying back in this area, right? When was this, right? April, June. If you're buying in there, especially in April, you're probably in profit on stuff. Now, if it breaks down, then what we really want to start looking for First major area would be right here, 54%. Right now we're just over 60. That's probably going to be the first major area of resistance, and then here about 52, and then down here at 48. And if it breaks down below that, well, then down here is as far as it could possibly go, which is about 42, 43%. Okay? So now let's zoom out again. Look at this drop. This drop from 73%, 73 and a half, all the way down to 39%, right? That is a 33, right? Going from 73 to 39, so 34 really point drop. And the highest we've gotten, and I do think that this is probably the top of Bitcoin dominance that happened here in June, brought us up to about 66%. I do think that's probably, good chance that's the top, good chance, right? We wouldn't expect to drop 34 points, right? Back here, again, back here, we dropped how many points? We went from 96 down to 36. We dropped 50 points, 50 points. And here we dropped 34. So let's do some math. Let's think about this. Check this out. Let's do some math. What's 34 divided by 50 equals? 0.68. Let's take that times 34. 23. You want to know what's interesting about 23? You want to know what's interesting about 23? If we go here, what was the top? I said, I think 66 is probably about the top. Subtract 23 from that. Where does that put you at? Drop in the comments. 66 minus 23 is what? Drop in the comments. Drop in the comments. Yeah, Sophia, all these lives get published on my channel when I'm done with them. They're just auto publishes. It'll be there. What's 66 minus 23? This is, come on, work with me. Come on, come on, come on. This is coming to a good piece right here. But I need someone to participate. What is it? 66 minus 23, come on. Are the comments not working? 43, Crypto Man, what's up? Oh shit, I'm sorry. When I hit the flip around button, the mute button is right below it. And sometimes I hit the damn mute button. Sorry. I assume you guys can hear me now. So my base case is that we will have some version of an altcoin season, but it won't be as crazy as the past ones. And it won't be everything goes at once type of thing, because there's just too many coins and too much distribution. I think that it will still move from less risky to more risky, so Bitcoin, ETH, the majors go up, and then you get into mid caps, low caps, and then ultimately I do think that memes are the last ones to go. And that's the way it's always been. But in particular, some memes are considered majors, like Dogecoin, like maybe Fartcoin, like maybe Pepe, and they tend to go up closer to, like, say, when the mid caps go up, because they are mid caps, roughly. And so there's some meme coins that are like the last ones to go, and when they go, it's over. How do you make sure that all the words are not upside down in the lives? Can you guys read that all right? Can you guys read that all right? I think on YouTube, while it looks backwards to me, I think it actually does look normal to you. Yeah, Perry says yes. Where on TikTok, it looks backwards to me, but it also looks backwards to you, and I got to click a button to mirror things. Yeah, mirror. But on TikTok or YouTube, it seems to do it automatically. Now, I can't see it. That reads backwards to me from my view. But for your view, it seems to read forward, so all good by me. And by the way, I have a video training up there to teach you about DeFi and how I get double-digit yield, right? So I have stablecoin, Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol, all passively turning into more stablecoin, Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol. Who doesn't want that? I have it on sale on a deep discount during the live stream. I mean, how does currently I'm getting 11% passively on my stablecoin. Anybody want that? Anybody want to learn how to do that? Because it's not always going to be that good, right? Once more people finally learn how to do this stuff, the returns aren't going to be as good. But still, almost no one knows how to do this stuff, so the returns are very good. Who wants to get 20% yield on Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol without staking? Who wants to have their Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol passively every day turning into more Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol? Do you? If so, go learn the secrets over here. Go get ahead of all time. 98% of people in crypto don't know how to use DeFi. Eventually, more and more people will learn how to use DeFi, and the returns will go down a lot. The opportunity will decrease. But right now, the opportunity is still massive. Are you going to get off the edge, get off the toilet, and finally learn how to do it? Go look. I show you my best stuff over here. I've been in DeFi as long as DeFi has been around. You aren't going to find many people that know as much about DeFi as I do. If you want to get 11% on your stablecoin, go over there. I teach you how to do it in videos step by step. You want to get 20% on your Sol, ETH, and Bitcoin? Go over there. Go get the trainings. They're normally $100. I have them on sale for $30 during the live stream. Can you invest $30 in yourself? Oh no, that's a cost of a couple Chipotle burritos. Just saying. All right, what do you guys want to talk about? I showed you the Bitcoin dominant stuff. We talked about altcoin season, which is, I'll start off because someone asked me about altcoin season. And so then I went into, it's possible. I mean, I think it's very unlikely that we have an altcoin season as crazy as we've had in the past, because every altcoin season has been diminishing. And I expect this one to be no different. Sure, there's more money in crypto, but there's way more coins. So the ratio has changed a lot, and it keeps changing. So to me, at best, I think Bitcoin dominance is going to drop about 23% at most. To put it in perspective, the last altcoin market, Bitcoin dominance dropped almost 35%. And the one before that, it dropped like 60%. So 23% within the realm of possibility. 15 to 20% seems pretty possible, almost plausible. But that is not as crazy of an altcoin season as what most people will be looking for. I'm saying that to give you caution, to say when there is any version of an altcoin season, get some money off the table. Because let me ask you guys real quick. Which one feels worse? Here's the example. Let's say you put $1,000 in something and it goes to $10,000 and you sell it, but it goes up to 20. That's scenario one. Scenario two, you put $1,000 in, it goes up to 10,000 and then it comes back down to 1,000. That's scenario two. Which scenario feels worse? One, where you miss out on an extra $10,000, but you still get $10,000 profit? Or two, you miss out on $10,000 profit and you get no profit. Which one feels worse? Which one would you rather avoid? Which one's more painful? Drop in the comments, scenario one or scenario two. Let me know. Maybe, I know what I think, but maybe you think different. It's so much better when people participate. On TikTok, people participate like crazy. DJ says scenario two, so he's saying put $1,000 in, goes to 10,000, goes back to 1,000, you took no profit. And scenario one was 1,000, goes to 10,000, you take profit, take it all out, and it goes to 20. DJ says scenario two. Anyone else agree with him or disagree with him? I completely agree. Remember that. The next time you're up on something, especially way up, remember that. Remember that taking profit, it's more painful to lose your profit than to miss out on more profit. Yeah, definitely, every time. Because you know what? There's always another shot. There's always another bite at the apple. There's always another trade. There's always a shitload more trades. Take your money off the fucking table and get ready for the next trade. Oh, that one. Oh, it went to 20. Oh, it went to 30. Oh. Bro, you 10x'd your money. You know how many times in that scenario that shit would have came back down to where you started, probably lower? A lot. So it's about the habit. It's about the habit. Speaking of habits, go get the training. Don't be silly. All right, what else you guys want to look at? I think I'm kind of shorter on time today. My lady's kind of pressuring me to go paddleboarding with her and her sister. I don't care to go paddleboarding, but I feel obligated. So I'm probably shorter on time today. What do you guys want to talk about? We talked about altcoin season. We talked about the likely outcome. We are not in altcoin season. At best, we're in some version of an Ethereum season. Well, that usually comes before an altcoin season, sort of. But this time is not exactly like the times of the past. It's really not. It's really, really not. Have you hit the follow, subscribe button yet? Have you turned on notifications? Are you liking this? You guys are quiet in the chat. What do you want to talk about? Talked about altcoin season. Talked about how to assess. We're looking at the way the engine moves, the way the parts, the levers, the buttons, the feedback mechanism works. And really, markets are made up of cash, risk assets, and yields. That pretty much makes up the whole, and then store value. So really, I would say cash, store value, actually fuck cash, store value, growth assets, and yield-bearing assets. That's the market. If you're in cash, quick question. Is $100 worth more, less, or the same today as it was 5 years ago? Let me know in the chat. More, less, or the same? Let me know. More, less, or the same? This is important. It's important, compadres, amigos. It's importante. It says there's some people in here. Is anyone actually in here? Am I just talking to myself? Look, here's a visualization. Get out of here. Look, this is back in 1920. This right here, this is $1. And it goes to 2020. So that's why I said 5 years, because whatever this is, this was the value of $1 in 2020. We know damn well the value of $1 is less than that 5 years later. But here it was in 1920. It had the buying power, purchasing power, because that's all that really matters, right? It had the purchasing power of over $25 100 years ago. And then 100 years later, it's 1/25 of the buying power. In other words, the buying power, the value of the dollar from 1920 to 2020 went down 96%. And from 2020 to today, I'm sure it's gone down more. Would you agree? It may have gone down 50% with all the money we printed and the inflation that we've seen. I hit the mute button again. God damn it. Sorry, I hit the mute button again. Damn, I'm so sorry. That flip around button, the mute button is like right below it, and I wish the thing would pop up on the screen and show me like I'm muted. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did you guys hear what I was talking about with the dollar? God, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna stare. Okay, you can definitely hear me. So in 1920, the purchasing power of the dollar going out to 2020, it's down 96%. And you know the value purchasing power of the dollar since 2020 to today, 2025, it's gone down even more, maybe as much as 50%. So in reality, from 1920 to 2025, the purchasing power of the dollar has gone down probably about 98%. It went up here because of the Great Depression, not because the dollar really went up, but because stocks and assets went down so much. Which goes to show you that when the value of the dollar goes up, it's a depression. You know, so this thing's programmed to go down. So if you stay in cash ever, people that say cash is king, block them. They don't know what they're talking about. They're repeating dumb shit they don't even understand. You should never be in cash. You need to be in yield-bearing cash, right? Cash, has an interest on it that is passively turning into more cash, because that beats inflation. It holds its value, if not improves its value. I get 11% on my stablecoin. that beats the shit out of inflation. My stable coin is passively turning into more stable coin every day. These opportunities won't be around forever. I've been in DeFi as long as DeFi's been around. Go get that video training, I'll show you. Can you see me? Some caller was calling, and every time that happens, the stream stops. Anyways, go get it. Normally $100 of that training, which is cheap as shit anyways. During the stream, it's 30 bucks. When the stream's over, it's going back up to 100. Worse than that, you go another day without knowing how to get 11% on your stablecoin, without knowing how to get 20% on Sol, ETH, and Bitcoin. You sit around like all the other plebs, not realizing that, hey, my stablecoin and my majors can just be literally accumulating more passively without me spending any more money while I sleep. I don't know. 30 bucks, that's a lot of money, a couple of Chipotle burritos. But you can't be in cash. You can't be in cash. You gotta learn DeFi. You gotta learn it. Learn it over there. That's the best stuff I've ever found. I've been in DeFi the whole time DeFi's been around, and longer. But whatever, 30 bucks is too much for you. Go spend hundreds of hours of your life learning what I've learned, or spend a few hours and 30 bucks. Your choice. All right, so can't be in cash. Altcoin season is not happening right now. It could happen in the future, but it probably won't look like how it's looked in the past. And there are a lot more coins. And another thing to look at that helps us understand is this right here. This is stablecoin dominance, right? So for every dollar in crypto, how much of it is in stablecoins? Currently, we're just under 6%. This is Tether and USDC. They make up like 99% of the stablecoin market. And we've been in a downtrend ever since December of 22, which was the bottom of the bear market, which was the bottom of Bitcoin price, okay? And we've come down, and now we really found some support here around this level. We made that first low in March 11th, well, March 24. And then we made another low in December, right? When you see this dropping, that's a bullish time, right? You see it bottomed in March, bottomed in December. And it came down to this trend line right here in August. And we're still there today, which is August. But you can see that these lines, this support here, about 4.9%. So what we really want to see is we want to see stablecoin dominance drop down here to sub 4%. That's what we really, really, really want to see, right? If we have altcoin season going on, stablecoin dominance will be heading down here, probably at least to this line, hopefully to this line. And Bitcoin dominance should be making its way towards this line, about 43%, but at least into this zone, high 40s, low 50s, okay? When you see this type of stuff happening, that and that, that's altcoin season. That's when I would say, we are in altcoin season. And no one that knows anything would disagree with me, because then it's undisputable. This doesn't look like altcoin season to me. This looks like a momentary Ethereum, let's be honest, Ethereum outperformance versus Bitcoin. Nothing else has really went up very much. So stablecoin dominance hasn't made a new low. Bitcoin dominance hasn't even made a new low. Ethereum dominance is on the way up. Do I have that up? So here's Ethereum dominance. It's on the way up. So that's positive. But I think we need to see Ethereum dominance at least come up to here, which is about 14.5%. Right now we're just over 13. Okay, we want to get up to about 14.5. This is the engine. This is the way everything works and moves together, right? That one's not relevant. Where is the other chart? This right here is total 3. Right, here's the total crypto market cap. This is the value of all crypto added together. Right now, just under 4 trillion, 3.9 trillion, okay? Which is the all-time high. Barely, right? Here back in 2021, we got to if I can line up on it, just over 3 trillion, see? And we made a new high finally in December of about 3.67. And right now we're sitting just under 4. I do think that we hit 4 the other day. Yeah, we crossed 4. So we've barely made new highs in total crypto. And then total 3 is the whole crypto market cap. If you take out Bitcoin and Ethereum, that's just over 1 trillion. That, the all-time high before this cycle, was right here, November 21, at 1.13 trillion. Well, we're under that right now by about $100 billion. Now, we did make a new all-time high in December, barely, to 1.16, just barely, by 0.03 trillion, which is like $30 billion. And we're below the all-time high, and we haven't even made a new one yet. But it has been moving nicely in this channel. We would want to see this come up here. And really, if we saw real altcoin season, we'd really want to see it come up here because, see, that was the top of the 17 bull market. That was the top of the 21 bull market. Look at how these touch. Perfect touch, perfect touch, perfect touch. If we saw a real altcoin season, I would expect this to really start making its way up to this line, which is about 3.5 trillion, which is about 3.5 times where we're at right now. So no, not an altcoin season. Do I have others up? This right here is the total crypto market cap if you remove the top 10 coins, right? So this right here is the total market cap. If you remove everything from Cardano and under. So it's if you add up Chainlink and everything down. That's what others is. And am I not clicking the right button? Where'd it go? Here we go. And let's see how it's doing. Check this out. What's going on here? I gotta refresh this. This thing's like, the chart's not even on here. Very important stuff. Here we go. So, well, let me pull up. It's called Others. All right. Here's where it got to in the 2017 bull market, got to about 75 billion. In the last bull market in 21, it got to about 464 billion. Right now, we're 296, way under the all-time high, and we haven't even made a new all-time high yet. The all-time high is still back in November of 2021. We want to see this. When it's altcoin season, we'll be making new highs. We'll bust out of this channel and make our way up to at least this line, which is probably somewhere around 2 trillion, which is, about an 8x from here. This might be a lot, right? Maybe some of you don't understand what we're talking about here, but you're like, something's going on here. I'm showing you the way the engine works, the way the gauge, the indicators work. And right now, it's not just Bitcoin's going up, altcoin season, ETH's going up, altcoin season. No, that's not. And people that are telling you that, they're either just trying to get you to watch and they know better, or they don't know better. They don't know how to assess anything. Just saying. Just saying. You want to get 11% on your stablecoin, 20% on your Bitcoin and ETH without staking or locking it up, having all that stuff passively turning into more every day? Go get that video training. Normally $100, only $30 during the stream. Can you invest $30 in yourself? And you know what? If you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. Now what? If you don't go get that now, you don't even want to win. Seriously. I'm not here to rub your back and tell you you're pretty. I'm here to, markets are brutal. And I have to tell you the truth and be kind of brutal with you because that's just the way they are. That's my approach. If it's not for you, it's not for you. That's fine. I'm not for everybody. But I think I make a big impact. All right, what do you guys want to look at now? Any other questions, any stuff like that? You guys are very quiet. I've been in crypto over 8 years. Like full in. Like ask me a question. Don't ask me a price prediction. Don't ask that, because no one knows. It's like, to me, it's as silly as asking me what the lottery numbers are going to be this week. Is that a serious question? Probably not. Price prediction. Here's what happens when you ask for price predictions. When you start getting price predictions from people, you start envisioning that that's definitely what's going to happen. And then when price starts going up, you don't take profits because you're waiting for it to get closer to that number. And then most of the time it never does. And then you ride that shit all the way back down. So you need to learn how the engine works and how to know when it's stalling out. Is anybody on here? It says 6 people, which isn't a lot, but I'm thankful you're here. Thanks for being here. Over on TikTok, I'll usually have like hundreds of people. But I'm trying to do more on YouTube because I'm kind of sick of TikTok. The platform itself, like it hates crypto. It flags me for my stuff all the time because I talk about crypto. It's little automated listening bots. It's talking about crypto, fraud and scam. Maybe YouTube does too. I don't know. I hope not. But I mostly watch YouTube. It's the only social thing I use. So there's lots of crypto people on here, and they've been around a long time, so I feel like this is maybe safer for crypto stuff. What else should we look at? Put a 1 in the chat if you would like to know how to tell when the absolute best times to buy Bitcoin are. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't. Get us to 10 thumbs up. We're at 8 right now. Let's get to 10 thumbs up. And put a 1 in the comment if you want me to show you how you can know definitively that it is a fantastic, beautiful, amazing, push it all in time to buy Bitcoin. Can someone let me know? I see a couple of you put a thumbs in emoji in. If you do that, does YouTube like automatically take that as you hit the like button? I don't know, but I've seen a few people do that now and I'm thinking, oh, maybe that's how it works. Because I did see that go up. Let's get to 10. One more person. One more person, let's get us to 10. I see 9 up there. Get us to 10. And I'll show you how to know definitively that it is a, we'll say, generational buying opportunity for Bitcoin. I'm just waiting on that one more thumbs up, one more like. I see 9 up there. Get us to 10. And I'll show you something super valuable like this. We hit 10. Hit the follow button if you haven't, or subscribe button on YouTube, I guess, and notifications. So you get notified when I go live, so you can be on at the beginning. Because you're just hopping in right now, you're like, what have we been talking about? I'm missing out. Don't miss out. So this is how you can know. By the way, go to that link. Don't be silly. Why can't you give it to me free? Because if I give it to you free, you won't use it. Actually, I've been giving away a free PDF and no one's opened it. Hundreds of people have claimed it. Almost no one's even opened the fucking email. But I know that when you pay for something, everybody opens the email and everybody watches it. I've done this for a while. So let's look over here. This right here is the average Bitcoin mining cost, okay? This chart goes all the way back to November of 2015. At that time, the cost to mine one Bitcoin was $177, but the cost to buy a Bitcoin was $328. That seems pretty reasonable because the cost to buy a Bitcoin should always be more than the cost to mine a Bitcoin. Well, blah, 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 don't make curve this. If the cost to buy a Bitcoin is below the cost to mine, no one would mine. They just buy it. So in order for there to be miners, they have to be able to sell it for more than they mined it for, okay? Now, as you can see throughout this 10-year, November 2015 to August 2025, you can see that that orange line and blue line are pretty close together most of the time, with a couple periods where the orange line, Bitcoin price, went way above the blue line, mining cost. This period right here, where Bitcoin price went way above the cost to mine, what do you think that period was and that period there? What do you think caused that and that? You want to learn something powerful today? Don't you leave this stream and give me an answer. Brad says XRP to the moon. That was not why. Although that first bump, XRP did pretty well. Second one, not so well. What's up from Sweden? Does anybody have a guess? Listen, I know this shit already. Do you guys want to learn it? Because I know it already. And like I said, I got to go paddleboarding. I could just end the stream right here and just move on. Like, I know this. If no one's interested in learning it, like, engage, please. I know this shit already. I'm teaching it to you. Do you want to learn it? It's incredibly valuable. Incredibly. I'm showing you how to know when it's a generational buying opportunity for Bitcoin definitively. And no one's commenting. Except for Great Stories, he just popped in. What's going on? Great Stories, be sure to hit the follow button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on things. This particular segment just started. I'm showing people how to know when Bitcoin is a generational buying opportunity. Shane at least gave a guess. He said war. That's a guess. I appreciate that, Shane. So I'm asking everybody, right? The orange is the cost of Bitcoin. The blue is the cost to mine Bitcoin. As you can see throughout this 10-year period here, the orange line and blue line are pretty close together with the exception of this time period and this time period and a little blip right there. And I'm asking everybody, what do you think caused all of a sudden Bitcoin price to be way more than the cost to mine it during these periods? Shane said war. I appreciate somebody commenting. Like, I got other shit to do. You guys could at least like take a guess. It's good for you to at least take a guess. And when I tell you what it is, it's going to be pretty obvious. Hype, Larry. I'm gonna say that that's the answer. This was a bull market. This was the 2017 bull market. People went crazy and got way too hyped up. A bunch of retail and not knowers came in and they bought Bitcoin way up. Check this out. As a matter of fact, they were paying $19,000 for Bitcoin, but it only cost $3,200 to mine. They were way overpaying for Bitcoin. That was the top of the bull market, December 2017. That was the top. And the bull market started as Bitcoin price started to lift off from mining cost. And it culminated at about a 6x, right? Bitcoin price being about 6 times more than the cost to mine. That's way out of line, right? Most of the time, Bitcoin's within like 20, 30% of the mining cost, which is fair value, right? Let's fast forward over here. Same thing happened. Look at this. Bitcoin price got up to, this was the first bump, got to a little about 3x the cost to mine. And it happened again here at the end of the year. Let me find the peak, we'll say that. Again, about 3x. So it was about 6x here, the cost to buy Bitcoin versus mine it, about 3x here. That was the top of the bull market. That was the bull market, that was the bull market. And here was a little bullish period leading into it, okay? Now, I want to show you something else here too. Listen, we're going to keep diving into this. In my opinion, for most people, for everybody. This is probably the most important thing to understand, and nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it. You do not want to miss this. Or maybe you do. But it's not going to benefit you to miss it. I'm dissecting this so that you can understand it. Right? But you see, most of the time over this 10-year period, the orange line is slightly above the blue line, okay? As it should be, because it should cost more to buy Bitcoin than to mine it. But it shouldn't cost too much more, and it should never cost less. Let's go to this period right here. See how the mining cost, that's the blue line, was at 400, let's say 495, call it $500, about $450, and it shoots up to almost $1,000 in a matter of like a couple weeks. What happened right here? From July 5th, it was at 470, and then by July 17th, it was almost $1,000. Why'd the mining cost shoot up like that? Working while you listen? Okay. Well, someone give me an answer. Why did the mining costs double in like a 1 week period? Any guess? Just give me any guess. Just participate. I know this shit. I'm trying to teach. Again, I know this shit already. Like, I got other stuff to go do. If someone could just give an answer, any answer. Mark says energy cost. That's true, energy cost doubled. But why did it double? Semiconductors? Fair guess. Maybe semiconductors all of a sudden doubled in price. That's a decent guess. Change in the number of miners? Well, maybe. Yeah, that would do it too. If you had a bunch more miners come onto the network, it'd be more competitive, price would go up. Good guesses, actually. But they're not the answer. They're close. I mean, Mark is technically right, but the answer I'm really looking for is the Bitcoin halving. So the answer is less Bitcoin that can be mined. Right now, we mine 450 Bitcoin a day. That's how much the network will allow. Before the last halving, guess how many we mined? And the last halving, by the way, was in April of 24. We were mining 900 Bitcoin a day. Before the halving before that, 1,800. The halving before that, 3,600. So all of a sudden, the energy cost didn't really rise. It did. The cost of the energy didn't, but the amount of Bitcoin you can mine got cut in half. So that's the other part of the equation, is if all of a sudden you're putting out whatever mining output, but you're getting half as much Bitcoin back, your cost to get one Bitcoin doubled. And then it cooled down because miners like shit. Now what happened? Now, right here, for a little blip, they were paying $970 to mine a Bitcoin, but you could buy it for $680. And you can see right here, right before it, see how Bitcoin price starts rising up going into the halving? That's because people were buying in anticipation of it. They knew the mining cost was going to double. So the new fair value of Bitcoin was going to basically double. And then it cooled off. Went back to where it normally does, Bitcoin being a little above mining cost, about 20-30%. Okay? Here's a little blip. Kept riding, and then here's where the bull market started, April of 2017. Whoa. All of a sudden, someone's paying like 60% more for Bitcoin than the cost to mine, and then it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse from there. Boom. Till it culminates at about 6x. Bitcoin being about 6x the price that it is to mine. That right there means Bitcoin is very overvalued for that period in time. Because the best way to value Bitcoin is how much does it cost to mine. It's the best way to value it. How much does it cost to produce? And then what's a fair premium to pay above the mining cost? I'd say it's about 20%. 30%. Okay? But now what happened? After that, Bitcoin price came back down to mining cost. And what happened was right here, all of a sudden, you could buy Bitcoin for less than it costs to mine. That's your signal. That's your signal. Bitcoin you should never be able to buy Bitcoin for less than it costs to mine. Because the cost of mining only goes up over time. More miners come onto the network, mining cost goes up. Energy costs over time, they just go up, period, don't they? It's inflation. And every halving, all of a sudden you can mine half as much Bitcoin. So overnight, the energy cost doubles because you get half as much output, Bitcoin. So the mining costs only go up over time. That's why the Bitcoin price has to just go up over time. And any time, which is very rare, that you can buy Bitcoin for less than it costs to mine means that you are getting a very rare discount. And then it's just waiting. Oh, but I bought it 64. Oh no, it went down to 38. Oh man, well you buy more. Because these periods, right, this chart started in November of 2015. You had to wait until basically November of 2018. You had to wait 3 years to get this opportunity to buy Bitcoin for less than mining cost. You had to wait 3 years. And then you got a window that lasted from November till February. You got about a 3-month window to buy Bitcoin below mining cost. And then it didn't happen again until COVID. It happened again in COVID, very, very briefly. That shouldn't have happened. That's an incredible black swan. That shouldn't have happened. But you got the opportunity there to buy it below mining cost. And actually, I know it got down to about 3,900, 4,000, something like that. You got a rare opportunity, right? It ended in March of 2019, and then you got another shot a year later, which you shouldn't have gotten, but you did, to buy it for less than mining cost. And then the halving happened right after it. That was the next spike up you see here. Especially being able to buy it under cost right before the halving. Talk about a gift. And then what happens? You get a little bit of time here to keep buying Bitcoin because it's during this COVID period. Everyone's scared, so you're getting to buy it around mining cost, maybe even a little below, right? And then what happens? Bull market. Bitcoin cost all of a sudden goes up to about triple the mining cost. That shouldn't happen. That's way over fair value. Bitcoin's being way overvalued. And that persists for a while. And then you get your next opportunity right here in June of 2022, where Bitcoin price goes under mining cost. That's your sign. That's when you buy. Reality, you had this period back here in 2018, going into early 2019. You shouldn't have had that period again until the next bear market. You had a little tiny window here because of a massive black swan called COVID. Okay, but we'll count it. So far, this chart starts in November of 2015, and so far we've had 1, 2, 3 periods going into January of 23, 8 years. So we've had 3 opportunities in 8 years to buy Bitcoin under mining cost. In reality, we should have only had 2 because that massive black swan, but that was a gift, especially right before the halving. You couldn't have had a better opportunity than that. Right before the halving. I mean, are you kidding me? And then the next time we had it was last year. And I was telling everybody this. If you were on my TikTok streams, I was telling everybody from this period right here, especially right here, I was like, look, you're able to buy Bitcoin in the 50s, 60s. Mining cost is 75, 80. You're able to buy it below cost, and they've got about 3 months to do it. And ever since then, Bitcoin and mining costs have been up. You had a little window here in April to buy in the 70s, right? If we zoom back 6 months, right? You had a little window right here during the whole tariff scare to buy Bitcoin in the 70s below mining cost, right? Between March and April, you had about a month to buy it below mining cost during a bull market. So that's it. I'm gonna take COVID out because that massive black swan, it just shouldn't have happened. It was a total massive unexpected gift. But you had 1, 2, 3 opportunities, technically 4 with COVID, over this 10-year period. So you get the opportunity to have a generational buying opportunity on Bitcoin about once every 2.5 years. The thing is, most people don't buy during those periods because they're too busy filling their diapers. I mean that. Because they don't know how to assess anything, and that's fine, most people don't. That's why I'm sharing this with you here today. If you're about to ask me, when's the next time it'll be under mining cost? I don't know. I don't know. You just had the opportunity last year, and I got to tell you, most people by far were too busy pooping their pants. You know what they say? I think it's going to go to 30. I think it's going to go to 30. I'm going to wait for that. Okay, tell yourself what you want. You're just shitting your pants and being scared, and you don't want to admit it. You want to say, I'm big. I know I'm smart. No, it's under. I was showing that for 3 months to everybody going, listen, this is probably the last time Bitcoin's going to be in the 50s. If we have another bear market, which I figure we probably will, a cyclical bear market, you'll be begging for the 50s and it will never come. You'll be begging for the 60s and it will never come. If you're freaking lucky, you might get the 70s. Right now, the cost to mine Bitcoin, guess how much it costs to mine Bitcoin right now? $92,000. And right now, Bitcoin is at 118. So Bitcoin's a good distance above mining cost. About 20%, 25%. That's a good chunk. And you'll know the top of the bull market, if we have that type of thing, because it'll look like this. People will be paying disgusting premiums to buy Bitcoin compared to the mining cost. Back here, in 2017, they paid 6x. They paid 6 times more for a Bitcoin than it cost to mine. In this last bull market, they paid 3. So this time, I don't expect Bitcoin price to get too much above 1.5, maybe 2x above mining cost. So if mining cost right now is $92,000, I think Bitcoin has a very hard time going above 150 if that's the mining cost. Mining cost goes up over time, right? At the halving last year, the cost to mine 1 Bitcoin shot up to about 86,000, and then it cooled off to about 70, and it's been going up ever since. Its peak was, looks like about 94,000, and that was in December, right? During a mania phase, but Bitcoin price didn't go too far above that, right? It went to 108 or so. So when we have a true altcoin season, Bitcoin price is going to go at least 50% above mining cost. So if it costs 100,000 to mine a Bitcoin and Bitcoin's going for 150,000 on, say, Coinbase, that's pretty risky. And the other parts of the engine will be showing you that there's a lot of risk going on. You'll see Coinbase hitting #1 in the App Store. You'll be seeing altcoins rising up fast. You'll be seeing the fear and greed index will probably be in extreme greed, things like that. And so when people ask me for price predictions, I'm like, it's not helpful. It's not going to help you. No one knows. What's helpful is to be able to learn how to assess in real time, in the moment, be able to assess the environment. And that's what most people can't do. And that's what most people will never put forth the effort to do. They will go on live streams and watch posts and videos over and over and over, feeling like they're productive, feeling like they're learning, but in reality, they've stopped learning anything new a long time ago and it's just entertainment. Go learn something new. Go over here, spend $30, 30 little dollars, cost of a couple Chipotle burritos, normally $100, worth a lot more than that, and learn something new. I have videos showing you step by step my top A+ DeFi plays. I'll finally show you how to use DeFi and put you right to the front of the line. I've been using DeFi the whole time it's been around. These are the only things I do. And if you're gonna be cheap and go, let's try to figure it out for free, it's gonna cost you a lot more than $30 and certainly take you a fuck long more than the couple hours of videos here. Don't be dumb. Go learn something new. Go over there, go get it. It's going back to $100 when the live stream's over. My stable coin is passively turning into more stable coin every day. My ETH, Bitcoin, and Sol are passively turning into more Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol every day. Do you want that? Of course you do. Go get it. And you support the channel. No. All right. What's up, Meter? How do you calculate the value once all Bitcoin are mined? All Bitcoin will never, ever, ever be mined. And you want to argue that with me because people have told you that this is when all Bitcoin will be mined. What if I told you everyone's full of shit? Either they're lying to you or they just don't even know. All Bitcoin is never going to be mined, ever. Ask me a question. Ask me why. Ask me why. You feel like what I'm saying is totally wrong and you're totally right. But I'll bet you I've been in crypto longer than many of you combined. And I'm the one on this side of the camera. Although people on this side of the camera are the ones that told you when Bitcoin's going to be completely mined, and they're wrong. How could they be wrong? Your head's hurting. Someone, ask me why. Why will all the Bitcoin never be mined? Ask me why. Or if you know, put it in there. FaZe says why? Well, it's math. How many times does it take? How many times can you have something, cut it in half until it gets to zero? How many times? How many times do you have to cut something in half to get it to zero? Go ahead. You all know the answer. If you don't immediately know it, your brain is working too hard. How many times can you half something before it gets to zero? I appreciate you for being part of it, FaZe. FaZe says infinite. Correct. So you can never mine all the Bitcoin, ever, because it has a halving. It has a halving. It keeps having and having and having and having. You will never completely mine all 21 million Bitcoin. You will just mine less and less and less and less of it every day. What does that do for the price of Bitcoin? If you can never mine it all, and every time a halving happens, the mining cost doubles. What does that do to Bitcoin price? It just goes up forever and ever and ever and ever. Exactly, FaZe. Do you know, what if I said to you that I could say, you know what? If you can get yourself on if you can get a hold of one Bitcoin in total over the next 10 years, you'll be at least a millionaire. Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could somehow, over the next 10 years, accumulate one Bitcoin? Because if you can do that, you will at a minimum be a millionaire. At a minimum. Because if you do the math, this is 2025, if you go out to 2035, and if Bitcoin only, on average, goes up 25% a year for the next 10 years, then if you have one Bitcoin by then, it will be worth, at a minimum, if it only goes up 25%, it'll be worth a little over $1 million. I expect Bitcoin to go over $1 million before then, but nonetheless, trying to be conservative. If it only goes up 25% a year on average over the next 10 years, Bitcoin will be worth a little over $1 million. And if you followed that plan of just accumulating Bitcoin when it's at a fair value, and I would say today, it's a little bit above fair value. I probably wouldn't buy it right now. Long run, gonna be fine. But even in particular, if you take your cash, do what I show you over here, go get yourself about 11%, right? So your cash, your stable coin, is passively every day turning into more stable coin as you wait for the next period when Bitcoin, the cost of Bitcoin, is below mining cost, which may be a couple years away from now. Maybe 6 months, maybe a year, maybe 3 years. But if you just do that, and you wait, and when Bitcoin goes below mining cost, your cash you've been building up, plus all that interest, because now you know how to use DeFi, get 11% or so. That's what I get right now. My stable coin turning into more stable coin every day, passively, while I sleep, while I eat, while I paddleboard, while I sit here and talk to you. And just let that build, because that's going to beat inflation. Easy. And then when Bitcoin does that, you take all of it, boom, buy. It's generational buy. Generational buying opportunity for Bitcoin is when the cost to buy a Bitcoin is below the mining cost. Over the 10 years of this chart here, it's only happened 4 times. Really 3? Because I don't want to count COVID, because that was a crazy, insane black swan, but sometimes you get a gift like that. So 4 times, but it really should have only happened 3 times. Nonetheless, over this 10-year period, it happens once every 2.5 years. The last time it happened was this time last year, during a bull market. And I was trying to get people to buy. But if you just buy a little bit regularly when it's around fair value, and then whenever it goes below mining cost, shove everything you can get your hands on at it, and that's your 10-year plan, it's inevitable that you become a millionaire, probably multimillionaire. And you don't got to play altcoins, you don't got to fuck around, you're not even really taking risk. Your buddy has 7 Bitcoin. Well, it's inevitable he'll be a multimillionaire probably within like 3-4 years. Probably be a millionaire by the end of this year, probably. And I just explained to you how the halving, all the Bitcoin will never be mined, because you can have something to infinity. You can never actually mine all the Bitcoin. Now, at some point, people will be mining 0.0001 Bitcoin a day, but imagine what the price of Bitcoin is when miners are paying shitloads of money to mine that little bit of Bitcoin a day. That'll be decades and decades away. Bitcoin price is programmed. I don't mean that as like a meme. I mean literally, it is programmed to go up forever. What if we lose all electricity and there's a nuclear war? What will Bitcoin price do then? Is that a serious question? Bitcoin ain't gonna matter. Money ain't gonna matter. Bullets, guns, water, and food are gonna matter. That's it. That's gonna be the currency if that doomsday event happens. How can you half one sat? You can. I know they say break it down into 1, but really you can break it down to less than that. There's an infinite amount that you can break it down to. We can break it down to way less than 1 sat. But it'll be a very long time, hundreds of years, before they're only mining 1 sat a day. Can you imagine what Bitcoin price is when all the miners in the world are splitting up 1 sat a day? I think it's very possible in the next 40 years that 1 Satoshi, which is 1/100 millionth of a Bitcoin, will be worth $1, which means a Bitcoin will be 100 million. I think in the next 40 years, I think Bitcoin has a very good chance of being worth $100 million in the next 40 years. And that seems hard for the human mind to comprehend. But again, if you actually sit down and do the math, that kind of adds up. Do you want to learn how to get 11%? Would you like to learn how to have your stable coin turn into more stable coin every day? Would you like to learn how to have your Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol turn into more Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol every day? Go support the channel. Spend $30. It's normally 100. During the stream, it's 30. And go get that video training. I've been in DeFi the entire time DeFi has been around. I've been around since before DeFi. Seriously. These are the best things I've ever found. They're what I use as 99% of my DeFi plays. Because I just sit around and passively, while I sleep, while I eat, while I paddleboard, while I talk with you, my stablecoin, my Sol, ETH, and Bitcoin are just growing into more without me having to put more money in. Sleep like a baby. 98% of people in crypto have no idea how to use DeFi. So the opportunity is still huge. Every day that goes by, you are absolutely robbing future you. You are cheating yourself, not knowing how to do this stuff. Is $30 gonna be the thing that stops you? And if you don't like it, if you think it's bullshit, I'll give you your money back. So it's risk-free. What's stopping you now? Go get it. What do I think about Shiba Inu? I think Shiba Inu is absolutely a blue chip meme coin. I don't own any of it. I'll probably never own any of it. I'd rather buy Pepe. Because Shiba Inu is the highest valued meme coin on Ethereum. And it will probably always have quite a value. I think there's a very good chance Pepe flips SHIB. And I'm more of a Pepe guy. Although with that being said, I more invest into leveraged Pepe, which would be the boys club, right? Pepe, Brett, Andy, and Landwolf. Particularly Landwolf is where I park my bags. As a matter of fact, that makes up about 98% of my entire Ethereum exposure / Ethereum investment. Because if ETH is going to go up, Shiba Inu will go up. But I think Pepe will go up even more than Shiba, and certainly more than ETH. And if Pepe is going to go up, then Brett's probably going to go up even more. And if they're going to go up, then Andy and Landwolf are probably going to go up the most. But buyer be warned, when ETH goes down, Shiba Inu, Pepe, Brett, Andy, Landwolf go down even more in the reverse order. Landwolf and Andy will go down the most. So you got to understand the volatility you're taking on, and it is a leveraged play, but without any risk of being liquidated. Beautiful. I've never seen a play like this. And Landwolf is the coin of this cycle that has made me by far the most money. I've gotten over 100x on Landwolf. The first time I got in around a $10 million market cap. It went to 150. I sold the top. I'm not always that good, no way. But I could tell that, like, listen, this thing's really having trouble getting above 150. I'm gonna sell it because I'm up a lot. And it went down to 20. I thought, this thing's pretty good. This narrative is really good. So I bought it again at 20. It went up to 300. I sold it at 200. So I got about we'll say, north of a 10x the first time. And then I put all that money back in at 20 and it went up to 300. I sold it at 200. So I got another 10x there. 10x times 10x, 100x. So I've gotten over 100x on Landwolf this cycle. I've made more money from Landwolf than anything else. Ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm gonna keep playing it. It went down into the 30s this time after this tariff thing. I bought in the 30s and 40s. It went up to about 60, I sold. Went up to 70, came back down in the 30s and 40s, I bought again. So actually, shit, I've probably made at least 150x on Landwolf. I'm gonna keep pushing that play. And I don't know if any of you are gonna listen to me. I've been telegraphing this play for well over a year now. The boys club, fuck. For the love of God. What about Chainlink? Chainlink is, in terms of an actual business, in terms of actual infrastructure and necessity in crypto, Chainlink is like one of the most beautiful things. I wouldn't buy it here. Not that long-term wise, it's probably a good buy. long-term wise. But Chainlink is like, Chainlink is by far the number one used oracle in blockchain. And what that means is that it brings off-chain information on-chain in like real time. Vital. It's as vital as water to a garden. That's how important an oracle is, okay? Because an oracle is the gardener. It's bringing water to the garden so the garden can grow and flourish. But Chainlink has become even more than that, because now it's a very, very good interoperability protocol. And I think Chainlink, there's a real world where Chainlink like becomes top 5 crypto easy. Like forever, kind of for a very long time. So Chainlink is beautiful. And I would, in terms of classifying things, it's had a really nice run up. Again, I wouldn't buy it right now. But for long-term bags, Chainlink is totally a blue chip. And it makes real revenue. It's extremely useful. It is vital to literally most things in all of blockchain and crypto. Fantastic. But I don't have any. I had some that I bought in the bear market, sold it after it pumped a lot, and started taking on more risk as we moved further and further into the what we'll call bull market. Well, wow, I've been on here almost 100 minutes. Wow. I'm gonna have to get going soon. I gotta trim my beard. I feel it coming over into my mouth. That's a good question, Andre, though, Chainlink. But get this information now so that when Chainlink drops a ton, you buy some and you are very confident and understanding and you are sleep like a baby. And it's not speculation and you're all worried and anxious like everybody else because you're like, I understand this play. Like, I can tell you guys the things I buy when I buy them. And you can buy them right along with me. But what'll happen most of the time is I'll make money and you'll lose money. But we bought it at the same time. How's that possible? Because I know why I'm buying it. I understand it. If you go buy something because someone says it's a good buy, you're probably going to lose money because you don't really know why you bought it. You don't have the conviction, you don't have the understanding, you don't have the confidence, you're going to have a lot of fear and anxiety. Whereas I know when I'm getting something at a good price and I understand the narrative and understand how to value it. Am I right all the time? Hell no. So it's also about risk management. And there's just no way to really learn that other than to get your butt kicked a bunch of times and keep getting up. I still get my butt kicked. I can't imagine when that won't be, but I will kick some butt once in a while, and maybe I'll get my butt kicked less. That's really about all I can hope for. It's about any of us can hope for. Warren Buffett still gets his butt kicked at 94 years old, and he's the most successful investor of all time. He'll admit it right to you. What's up, Tire Mario? Will be the best $30 you've spent this year. Or you can wait till after the stream and buy it for $100. If you thought, it'd be really nice if my cash just turned into more cash while I slept. If you like that idea, if you thought, my Bitcoin, if it just magically every day turned into a little bit more Bitcoin without me putting in more money, that'd be great. If my Sol and ETH could do that too, that'd be great. If they could do it at like 20%, that'd be super awesome. I don't know what else to say. I don't know how else to persuade you to do this thing that's very beneficial for you. And if you don't like it, it's only 30 bucks. It will be 100 after the stream. If you don't like it, I'll refund you and you can keep it. Don't be the guy or girl that is just a thief that's just going to ask for a refund no matter what. But if you truly go through it and you're like, you know, this isn't for me, or I already knew all this, I'll give you your money back, no problem. So you have no risk. What's stopping you? Your psychology, and that you don't actually want to win. That's what's stopping you. And you got to wrestle with that. Good price right now is for ICP, but for some reason it looks like it is not a good investment. Probably the world is not ready for this big project. What's your opinion? Let's pull up ICP. That's a good question. I haven't looked at ICP in a while. Where's it rank in market cap? Let me look. Let me try to find ICP, Internet Protocol. Where's ICP? Did I pass it? Number 39 market cap, sitting just under $3 billion at $5.49. Let me pull up the chart. ICP USD. All right, Internet Computer. Let's look at it. Well, let's go to like the weekly and look. You know what? It's not really a bad price. Now, I would want to look at it to see what its like metrics are. Its bear market bottom seems to have been back here in September 23, around just under $3, and right now it's at $5. It did hit a high here in March of 24 at about almost $21, came down, and then came back up in December. Not a good sign that it didn't make a new high in December at 15, but it doesn't look like off the bat, it doesn't look like a bad buy to me. Let me show you something. Let me do this. What are the odds? What are the odds that this little channel I just drew, what are the odds that that top and that top, when I draw a parallel channel, perfectly connect to that low and that low? What are the odds? Got to say, that's kind of spooky, huh? So if you're big on ICP, I mean, it's definitely in a downtrend, and it's not good that it made a lower high in December when Trump got elected. That's not good. And it's down here at this strong blue line. If it came down here, that would probably be a good trade, but it does look weak. It does look weak, right? That it didn't make a new high in December when everything was making a new high, other than ETH, of course. But ETH has been in an uptrend, nonetheless. So, I don't know, it doesn't look like a terrible time to buy it. If you understand the revenue it makes, if you understand the users, the number of wallets, the plan, if you really understand it and you're critical and you've looked at it critically, then this might be a decent buying opportunity. As a chartist, looking at the chart, I wouldn't buy it right here because the chart does look weak. But as a trader, if it came down to say, you know, sub $4, probably solidly in the threes, that would probably be a good trade. Because if it goes into the threes, it's definitely going to come back up into the fours. As a trader, I would look at it, but not something I'd be accumulating. But if we have a proper version of an altcoin season, I could see a scenario where ICP, you know, goes above its March 24 highs, maybe gets back up to, you know, well, that's a tall order from here. You know, I see a lot of resistance at about 30, you know, maybe. ICP, I like that. XRP had a good run. I think it'll go higher. I don't really care for XRP. Again, it doesn't make any sense from any number standpoint, other than it's a cult. So cults can pump. And as much as ICP's promise of its use case is just total bullshit, it was a very good proposition when they first came out, like in 2012, but it's pretty unnecessary now. Someone was calling again, so the stream froze. But I was buying XRP at like 35 cents in 2022. And I held it for like 3 years, two and a half years. And I sold it around the holidays last year for like $2.70. Cool. And it's gone up higher, fine. I took that money and put it into other things, and I made a lot more than I would have by staying in XRP. But I still think it's pretty possible that XRP hits 10 bucks. I was saying that. And I don't even like XRP. But in the bear market in 22, that's exactly what I was saying to everybody. Was, I'm going to buy XRP here and just wait, because the only thing that I really need to have happen by the end of 2025, I was saying this in 2022, what I need to have happen is that SEC case needs to be over by the end of 2025. I felt very confident that would happen. And it was over in like 2023. And then it shot up to like $1, and then went back down to like 40, 50 cents. And I was like, okay. And then finally it shot up to like almost $3 at the end of last year, and I sold it. I'm like, all right, I'm out. That's good. I think it'll go to 10. And I said that in 2022. I was saying it over and over. I thought 10 was kind of a base case for XRP, and I hate XRP, and the valuation doesn't make any sense, even where it's at, let alone at $10. But I think XRP probably should have hit $10 last cycle. Why didn't it? Well, because in December of 2020 is when that SEC case came in against them. And it removed XRP from Coinbase and all kinds of places. Americans couldn't even buy it anymore, and a lot of places couldn't buy it. So it severely handicapped XRP. And what happened in January of 2021 to May of 21? Massive altcoin season. XRP got taken out of the game right before the game started, like a couple weeks before the game started. If it had been in the game, it probably would have got to $10. That's what the chart showed me. So I figured, well, if it should have done that last time, as much as it doesn't make any sense, like other than chart-wise, cult-wise, like number-wise, but crypto doesn't always have to make sense number-wise. I was like, it should get to 10 bucks. Maybe it can get to 20, which would be $1 trillion. But I'm good at $2.70. And I've used that capital to rotate into other things, and I made a lot more than I would have by staying in XRP. It did its purpose. But I still think XRP could hit $10, and it's kind of, I see that as more probable than not. Take it for what you will. Doesn't mean I'd buy XRP here. Because if XRP is gonna go to 10 bucks, can you imagine what other things are gonna do? Can you imagine what Pepe is gonna do? Can you imagine what the Boys Club's gonna do? Can you imagine what Fartcoin's gonna do if XRP goes to $10? Can you imagine that market environment? Bitcoin Satoshi Vision released the Terra node 1 million transactions per second. I do not care. Doesn't matter. We are so past those times of that mattering, of that being a selling point. Because things move sufficiently fast enough now. Things are working, network effects, users on certain stuff. Bitcoin Satoshi Vision's dead. Will it still technically exist in the network run for a long time? Sure. But it's not worth paying attention to. I feel very confident about that. But I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again, no doubt about it. H-bar has done good. H-bar, has it? Actually their hash graph technology is actually pretty interesting. But the tech isn't really what sells. Because people don't understand that, right? Like, we use HTTP as the internet protocol. Is that because it's the best internet protocol that's ever been conceived? Not even close. You know why we use it? Because it was the first one to gain critical adoption. In other words, get a certain number of users. Because once you get to a certain number of users, AKA network effects, goodbye. That's the winner. It's like you're playing a football game, and there's 60 minutes in the game, and with 10 minutes left in the game, you're up 50 points. But all of a sudden, all of your starters get injured. And so now you've got all your entire team is injured, and all of a sudden you got to bring in high school players to play other NFL team. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter that the other NFL team is so much better than the competition. There's only 10 minutes left in the game. It's over. It's over. They can just wind down the clock. Network effects, baby. All right. I've been on here for almost 2 hours. I should probably get going. I'm sure my lady wants me to go paddleboarding, and I don't want to. Because we have like blow-up paddle boards. But I don't want a non-blow-up one. I don't want any paddleboard. Because the ones that aren't blow-up, they're so big, pain in the ass to store. And the ones that are blow-up, like, it's such a pain in the butt to get those last few pounds of pressure in them to be able to use them. You gotta sit there on a pump, and you can get a motored one, but it just doesn't ever do enough work. And you're like, oh. So I gotta sit there and pump for like 20 minutes. And by the time I get enough in there, I'm like, I'm done. I need to go take a nap. I'm exhausted. That blows, literally. For the love of God, go invest in yourself. Go pay for a little education. Learn how to get 11% on your stablecoin passively. Learn how to get 20% on your Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol passively without staking or locking shit up. Go learn something that 98% of people in crypto have no clue even exists before the opportunity is completely gone. Because more and more people are learning every day. And if you're going to be like cheap, like, I'm going to go figure it out myself, well, it's going to end up costing you a lot more in mistakes financially and stress-wise, and it's going to take you a lot more time. Normally $100, during the stream $30, a couple Chipotle burritos. You'll level up like crazy. All of a sudden your stable coin is just turning into more stable coin every day. All of a sudden your Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol are just turning into more Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol every day. Videos, step by step, showing you exactly what to do. It's exactly what I do. I've been in DeFi, the entire time DeFi has been around. I've been around longer than DeFi. I know what I'm talking about. And there's only a few things that I really use, and I've used so many things. I've paid the price. I have lost money, went through stress, went through headaches, tried to figure things out. I mean, you just skip it. You can skip all of it. Go get the things that I do. I keep doing this. I got to do this. I'm going to end the stream, and it's going to go back up to $100. So you get it for 30. Go get it. And you may be thinking, well, give it to me for free. For weeks, I've been giving away a free guide on this shit. Hundreds of people have claimed it. Guess how many have opened it? Way less than 10% have even opened the email. And way less than that have actually opened the document. If you go buy it, you want to know what's going to happen? You're going to open the email. You're going to go to the videos and you're going to watch the videos. And you're going to apply it. Why? Because you actually put some skin in the game, even if it's only $30. Some people think they want things for free, but free things, while they might be valuable, they're useless because people won't use them. Because if you don't have anything to lose, you'll just go about your life and forget about it. What's your approach for next 4 to 7 months? Same as always, watch the chart, see what's going on. If deviations happen, if altcoins start massively outperforming Bitcoin, if Bitcoin starts dropping, whatever happens, it's about being able to adjust. My base case, but I don't know what's going to necessarily happen, you never know what's going to happen, is that into the end of the year, we probably see some kind of altcoin outperformance. It won't be as dramatic as past altcoin seasons, and it may not even be technically an altcoin season, maybe just a blip of altcoin outperformance. I think that between now and the end of the year, but what it looks like, that path, very uncertain. Shit could get very scary before it gets great. Shit could get really great and then go real scary real quick. You never know. But it does look almost certain at this point that the Fed will start cutting rates in September. The market's starting to price that in, but the CPI report is coming out this week, I believe. And then there's Jackson Hole with Powell and the rest of the Fed and stuff later in the month. And then they'll have their Fed meeting in September. And unless things really change a lot, which they could, we should probably see a rate cut. And maybe even at least one or two more after that before the year's up. And we may see an end to QT, quantitative tightening. And if that happens, things go up. That's my base case. But that's a lot of people's kind of base case. So I remain cautious. You'll love or your mattress is free. Suggest me a good wallet. Actually, in this training, I show you the wallets I use. I use 2 different wallets, depending on the networks. Go spend $30. Go get that training. Like, there's nothing you're gonna go find today or watch today that's gonna be even close to more valuable than that. And if you think that you get things for free and that's valuable and good to you, it's not. How many free things are sitting in your waste bins in files buried in your computer that you've completely forgot about? But things you pay for, you pay more attention. Things you pay for, you put in more time. It's just the way it is. I've seen it over and over and over again. Are you into DeFi, ENA, Curve Maker? Not particularly, because the things I teach over here that I do get me better returns than those things. ENA's close, sort of. I don't really own any of those coins, and I won't. But Athena as a yield on stablecoin is okay. But the things I teach over here on dailycryptobull.com in that training, that's what I use. And that does better for my coins, my stablecoin, my Solid Bitcoin, than what those things do. Because Curve and Maker are very stablecoin focused, but they're more for like big boys, right? Because they're on ETH. Just to do a transaction on ETH is going to cost you a few bucks in low times. And that's not good for most people, right? Transactions I do on, say, Sol or layer 2s are fractions of a penny. Only thing that's free is bad advice. Bad advice is free. Good advice is free too. But the thing is like, unless people put something on the table, unless they pay for something or put something into the pot, they don't ever take any of it or use any of it. Like, the first time it really hit me was several years ago, because I've been trading for years. Several years ago, I was on TikTok, hundreds of people on my stream, thousands over the course of it. And I do it over several weeks. I kept asking people, I'm like, what do you guys really want to learn? They say, trade. And I was like, if I put together like a really good master class and gave it to you, would you want that? Absolutely, they said. So I spent about 3 months making a beautiful master class on trading. And I gave it away for free. I mean, think about that. I spent 3 months making it. Recording, re-recording, editing, thinking, rewriting, re-recording, adding things, taking things out, blah, blah, blah. A lot of my fucking time. And I gave it away for free after 3 months of working and years of learning to trade to be able to even make that class. And I said, went on TikTok, I'm like, all right, I put it together, go get it. Hundreds of people claimed that class. And a few weeks went by. I kept telling people they could get it over the course of live streams. I did almost every day. And it was free. And hundreds of people claimed the class. Put their email in, and the link to the video is a very long, like 2-hour long video that I edited and re-edited. Anyways, it was very good, very good. Hundreds of people went there. And eventually I started thinking, a lot of people go claim it, but I haven't really heard anyone give me any feedback. Not like, no one's saying this is great, this is terrible, you could add this. No one said anything. And I'm like, that's weird. So then I opened up the dashboard to look at the metrics. I don't remember how many people claimed it, hundreds and hundreds of people. But then I looked at the email and I realized, I don't remember the exact number, but way less than 10% of the people that claimed it ever even opened the email. And then something like 1% maybe even clicked the link to go to the video. And then the video itself was a little over 2 hours long. The average watch time on that video was like something like 8 minutes. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? You guys all said you wanted this. I spent 3 months putting this thing together and I gave it to you. What's going on here? And so it bothered me for days. Like, what? Why are people not even opening they put in their email and say, send it to me, it goes to them. And less than 10% of them even open the email. And then something like 1% even click the link to the video. And 2 hour long video, average watch, so the people that are going to the video, they're barely even watching it. Most of them aren't even pushing the play button. That's so confusing. And so I spent days, I couldn't even sleep. I'm like, what is going on? This is like hurting my head thinking of what's going on here. I'm so confused. And then I'm out for a walk one day, thinking about this, because I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And then all of a sudden, a thought comes into my head, and here's what it said. It said, when people pay, they pay attention. And I felt relief. I'm like, that's true. That's the problem, is I'm giving it away for free. So immediately, I started making it paid. Not much, I think I was charging like $50. $50, it's a few beers at a football game. People, $50 is nothing. So I started charging $50 for it. Hundreds of people bought it. Guess what? 99% of them opened the email. Something like 97% clicked the link to go to the videos. And the average watch time on the video was a 2 hour long video. The average watch time went from 8 minutes to over 2 hours, meaning most people were watching it more than once. What changed? The video didn't change at all. The information didn't change at all. What changed was the people put some money in the pot. They put some skin in the game. They made an actual decision. So they paid more attention. They paid, so they put in more effort. And then I started hearing from people. They're like, this was great. I learned so much. Wow, this was great. All for weeks. And I'm like, that's it. I am never going to be in anything free again. And over the last few weeks, I broke my rule. You go to Went to Daily Crypto Bull, and I was giving away a free PDF on all of these strategies. Again, what happened? I told everybody what was going to happen. Go and give you guys a chance. Hundreds of people claimed it. Again, way less than 10% of the people even opened the email. Again, about 1% even went to the goddamn document. So I said, I'm done. Got to charge something, because if you want to actually get any help, you actually have to pay money so that you put some skin in the game, so that you actually feel compelled to get your money's worth. Because if it's free, you have nothing to lose. But even if it's only $30, all of a sudden you have something to lose. You have skin in the game, even though it's only $30. It's incredible. So I say that as a cautionary tale that if you think you want people to give you things for free, ironically, you don't, because you won't get any value from it, even if it's valuable. You got to pay for things. It's you making a decision. I've learned it over and over. Human behavior, human psychology, end of story. My best moves are right there. Go pay $30, support the channel, or pay $100 after the stream. Either way, stop missing out every day, right? Your stable coin could be turning into more stable coin every day passively while you sleep. Your Sol ETH and Bitcoin could be turning into more Sol ETH and Bitcoin every day while you sleep, while you eat, while you paddleboard, while you sit here and listen to me yap. Don't stop wasting time. Go get it. And if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. What the F is stopping you, other than you don't actually want to win? You just want to pretend like you want to win, or you're scared to do anything new. That's the truth. And we all deal with it, me too. Just saying. How come every token people say is going to skyrocket ends up tanking? Not every, but most by far. Because they don't know what they're talking about. They're just hyping shit up. So you have to learn how to assess things yourself. That's the truth. Which means you got to put in the time. You got to keep paying attention to that token, pay attention to the community, gain an understanding of how it works. If it's a meme coin, well, then you're watching the community. You're watching the narrative. In reality, in my opinion, let's talk about meme coins. You shouldn't even buy them unless you yourself actually want to be a member of it. Unless you like it. Like really like it. Not fake like it because you think it might make you money and you tell yourself you like it, but you're just lying and you don't really know. I mean, when you're like, I don't even care what the price does. I just like being part of this. That's what you should be in. And don't force it. You can't force it. Try to force it, you're gonna lose your money. Like Pepe. Duh. So then the Pepe is really unique that it has the boys club. And then it was a matter of identifying, okay, who's gonna be the correct member of, who's gonna be the correct Brett, correct Andy, correct Landwolf. Well, those have all been determined. Thankfully, I was correct about the right Landwolf early. And I was telling everybody, this is the right one. And that community, by the way, is absolute beautiful. The leadership is beautiful. The leader, Keck, he owned something like 30% of the supply extremely early on. And he's thrown like 25+% of it into either being burned or literally sold to put back into community like marketing projects. Beautiful. So the ones I really like, but again, you and I can buy things on the same day. I make a ton of money, you lose a ton of money. Because I understand why I'm getting in it. I understand what every little move means. I can interpret it, I can feel it. I know why I'm there. If you don't have that, you're just gonna lose. Because you're gonna let fear and shit get to you and greed get to you, and I'm gonna know like, well, look at the holder count. I've been following that for a while. I see the social attachment. I see the ethos here. I see how everybody's responding. I see how leadership is responding, the main account. I see these people. You start to really understand this ecosystem. And there's just no substitute for time. Most people won't put in the time. Everyone wants a shortcut. And the truth is, most things are on a shortcut. That is a shortcut. Leverage my experience. Leveraging people's experience like mentorship, courses, and education, that is absolute cheat codes. Go get it. But you gotta pay for it. Because for one, if I gave that to you for free, I know what would happen, even though you think it'll be different. Almost no one will watch it. And no one will actually really apply themselves, because you will learn things there that are new, and there will be a level of discomfort. But if you pay money, you'll work through the discomfort and put in the effort. But it'd still be 100 times easier than what it took me to learn that shit, because I had to do it on my own. Isn't self-custody given up when you give your ETH, Bitcoin, Sol stables to BFI, or am I wrong? Depends. For instance, with the Sol, ETH, and Bitcoin, we're not giving it to anybody. With the stablecoin, we are, but we're putting it to work, and we can reclaim it whenever we want. What I would say is those questions are good, no doubt, but most of the time, they're just reasons to stop you from doing something new. What you learn over here, am I saying, put all your money in? Fuck no. Put in a tiny, tiny bit to start learning what it feels like, how it works as you expand your experience. Right? I hope you guys get that. Be careful with these questions. I mean, they're good questions. That's a good question. But most of the time people use that as a crutch to keep themselves from doing something new. Give them a reason to not do something new that's good for them, right? Not saying that's you, but probably. I've done it too. Not judging. I'm just observing myself and other humans, and we tend to do a lot of the same things. Syrup looks decent like ENA 2. Syrup does look pretty decent, actually. Still a little kind of new for me, not my preference, but there is some stuff with syrup that I'm entertaining, but it still seems a little more risky to me when I can still safely get 11% on my stablecoin without having to mess around with a newer protocol like that. Yeah, I'd say it's newer. Where's that class at these days? KCryptobull.com. Let's see here. What's up, Marvin? One Maker Club. Are you into? Okay, I saw that. All right, I should end the stream soon. I like being on these streams. I like to hear myself talk, I guess. Because this is just shit I'm thinking about all the time. And I'm just having these conversations in my head, thinking about this and this and this and this and this and this and that. And so to share these ideas and say them out loud and share them, like it's therapeutic for me. Are you into DeepIn projects like GoodNet? Never heard of GoodNet. Not that that means much. I haven't heard of probably most projects because there's so many goddamn projects. DeepIn as an industry is inevitably going to grow. But that doesn't mean the timing of being in it right now is the right time. Doesn't mean it's not the right time. Doesn't mean there's not some good trades to have. I'm just undereducated in DeepIn and the DeepIn providers and the DeepIn offerings, etc. I'm undereducated, and I'm not going to let FOMO try to get me to buy something. I have my place. I'm very educated in them, and I'm staying in my lane. The time to start exploring other lanes, in my opinion, is not right now. Not in the tail end of an uptrend. It's more in the depths of a downtrend / bear market. That's the time to really explore new narratives, new projects, because also you figure out which ones are telling the truth, which ones are really working, which ones are really building, which ones are really keeping users, which ones are really innovative. Because in the bull market, everything looks good. Way more things look good. So I'm undereducated in the DeepIn industry and narrative and etc. So I'm not going to go out of my lane and feel that FOMO and let that FOMO get a hold of me. That's me. You probably know more about DeepIn than I do. Specific projects. That's my guess. I agree the tokenomics can look bad too. They can. And sometimes tokenomics don't even matter. I don't know. And for DeepIn projects for me, again, undereducated. I feel like the token itself needs to have utility value, or else it would be pretty inflationary. But I don't know. People ask me about RWAs also. I'd say I'm undereducated. Again, that industry and category will continue to grow over time, but I'm undereducated as to identifying winners, and I know Ondo, okay, but I'm still undereducated about Ondo. You know, it's got, let me see if I can find it real quick. Can I find it? Interesting, get rid of that. I wonder if I can find, let's go look up Ondo real quick. Let me look at something. I'd imagine Ondo still has a good amount of coins to come on the market. Here's Ondo. Apparently it's just under $1. Yeah. So 34 of its tokens have been unlocked, the screen bar. So that means it's still got 66% to be unlocked. Now, what's apparently there was an unlock in January, and apparently there's an unlock this coming January. So it seems okay for now. Looks like they'll be releasing 1.94 billion Ondo, which is quite a bit, right? How many Ondo are out so far? It looks like 3.39 billion are unlocked so far, and they'll be, increasing that by 36% in January. Very important to know about this stuff, wouldn't you say? I wonder what happened to Ondo price. Do you guys want me to look up what happened to Ondo price around this big unlock that more than doubled the supply in January? Would you like me to look that up? Let me know in the chat. If not, I probably gotta roll. $500 into Bitcoin, bought and staked one soul. Any opinion, please? Go unstake your soul. There's no reason to stake it. If you want to learn why, go buy my course. Are you an XRP hater or lover? It splits opinion massively. I see no reason to get too emotional about any of it. It leads to bad decisions and bad judgment. But I think XRP is quite overvalued. Yeah, but I still think it'll probably go to like $10 this cycle. So no one wants to see what happened to Ondo after that big unlock? Does it make you wonder about your tokens? How many are locked up or unlocked? You'll check it out. Well, you're either gonna get it or not. It's only $30 during the stream. When the stream's over, it goes back to 100. And if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back and you can keep it. So there's not much to think about. It's $30. And what I teach you over there are my favorite DeFi plays. I've used DeFi its entire existence and I've been around longer than DeFi. I get about 11% on my stable coins without locking it up or staking it, and that's just stake it. And I get about 20% on my Sol ETH and Bitcoin without staking it or locking it up. And I teach you those things over there, step by step. And again, if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. That said, don't be the person that's gonna, no matter what, ask for their money back. Be honest, please. But how are you gonna ask a dishonest person to be honest? I don't know. Yes, Ondo, okay. So looks like Ondo unlocked on January 18th. Now you got to realize it's not exactly a secret. If you know, you know, right? I just quickly looked it up, and this website right here, tokenomists.ai, showed me that, someone's going to get unlocked on January 18th of 25, and there will be another event, same date, but in 2026. Okay, and this increased the Ondo supply by about 57%, more than doubled it, circulating supply. And, a lot of things went down from here, but things started going up. This is when the market really started selling down. And then it unlocked, kind of found a bottom, went up, and then a big drop, and then went all the way down. So Ondo was all the way up here on December 14th, about a month before its unlock, at $2.14 at the peak, okay? And then by April, it was all the way down at 66 cents. Now that's quite a drop for a major token like that. If it didn't have that big unlock, it probably wouldn't have had that big of a drawdown. I expect this type of thing to most likely happen again next December, January for Ondo, when it unlocks 36% of its circulating supply, okay? Yeah. So you want to look for those types of things. Let's look up XRP, although XRP doesn't necessarily have it that way. And they may not even pull it up on here. Yeah, they didn't. But, something else. How about SUI? SUI is one that has unlocks. Let's pull up SUI. SUI. Here's SUI. right? $3.65. And 35% of it's unlocked. 52% they haven't determined when it's going to get unlocked. And they have 13% that will be coming unlocked. So looks like September 1st. Look at that. Isn't that good to know? They had an unlock in August 1st, and they have another unlock in September. I'm guessing they will continue to do that. Now, I'd have to pay for their service, but you know, if I go back, they've been doing it every single month. So SUI is unlocking about, you know, over 1% of its supply every single month. It's diluting itself every single month. And that may not do much in 1 month, but over time, that really starts to dilute it, especially when you look at like the revenue and the users growth or decrease in usage, et cetera. You know, investors eventually start putting those things together. That being said, I think there's money to be made in SUI. I was saying that, I've been saying that. But it's important to understand when these unlocks happen. These SUI unlocks don't necessarily matter too much right now, but it'll be more of a delayed effect because when we have a real downturn, that extra supply is going to be extra sell pressure. So month to month, SUI releasing, you know, a little over 1%, month after month, doesn't do too much in the short term or midterm, but when there's a real downturn, it has an extra drawdown effect. Ondo, on the other hand, when it does one unlock a year, but it's a massive unlock, you can pretty much bet that you can short it, but you probably got to short it at least about a month ahead of time and just wait and not get shook out. I did that with Arbitrum last year. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Got into that trade a few weeks before this big Arbitrum unlock, and it tried to get people out. It was there's liquidating shorts and longs, mostly shorts, but I had a good entry and not too much leverage. And I rode that shit down, made like 100+% on a short because I knew the unlock was coming. And it's not like secret information. Just most people in crypto don't know shit about fuck. So that's that. Well, I'm going to sign up right now then. Smart move, Marvin. All right, y'all, I've been on here for, looks like 144 minutes. Have you hit the subscribe button? Have you turned on notifications so you get notified when I go live next time? Because if you're familiar with me or you're getting familiar with me, I usually go through, like, these are classes. And if you walk in late to class, it's hard to catch up because I'm not going to start the whole class over. You're going to miss things, you know? And I try not to do too much speculation. I try to really pound home the basics and open the hood of the crypto and economic engine so you can see how it all works together. Thanks, BPF. BPF said subscribed. But yeah. And that's really, that's really kind of my approach. I'm not, you know, at least in my current form, right? We all start where we start. We all are where we are, and we're all going to different places. In my current form, I've been in crypto over 8 years. I've been around longer than probably almost any coin you're even in. I probably have forgotten more coins than you've heard of. I've been around since before DeFi even existed, before NFTs existed. As a matter of fact, I bought some of the first ever NFTs. They weren't called NFTs then. I bought gaming NFTs. They didn't call them that. It just made sense to me. Anyways, my brother bought his first Ethereum at $11. That's who got me into crypto, actually. I bought my first ETH at like $170. First Bitcoin at like, I don't know, $1,000. Bought my first, boy, it's funny to think back to that stuff. I made so many mistakes. And really, most of my mistakes came from doing too much. That's where most mistakes come from, is what I've learned the hard way over 8 years, is that most mistakes come from doing too much, when you should really just sit back and let the pitch go by and by and by until that perfect, sweet, fat, lobbed, perfect pitch comes, and then you swing. When it's a beach ball coming your way and everyone's taking a nap in the field, boom, that's when you swing. Other than that, you do nothing. Or you have a very long-term accumulation plan, like with Bitcoin. Like I was saying to you guys, I was showing you the cost of Bitcoin versus the cost to mine Bitcoin. And anytime, it's rare, but it happens and it will happen again. Last time it happened was last year for about a 3-month period, and I was screaming to people, buy Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin, the rare times, happens about once every 2.5 to 3.5 years. Bitcoin goes below, it becomes cheaper to buy Bitcoin than to mine it. That's a very rare thing, right? So that's the time when you buy big. That's a big, that's what I'm talking about. Pitch, 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 pitch. When Bitcoin goes under mining cost, that's that big fat beach ball. Boom. You can't miss. You can't lose. You just can't. You can't not hit a beach ball. I don't care if you're batting, left-handed and you're a righty. I don't care if your eyes are closed. You're going to get a piece of that ball, that beach ball. It's going to happen. So stuff like that. But, accumulating Bitcoin when it's around fair value, which means it's close to mining cost, little maybe daily, weekly, monthly buys. But the times when it goes under mining costs, which again, like I said, is rare, you buy with everything you have, right? But you can't overbuy in a way that it can put you into a financial situation where you might need to sell some to pay bills. You could, but you get what I'm saying. And what I typically do, I show you over here, is I always have a good amount of stable coin sitting somewhere, getting a really nice, safe yield. And currently I'm getting about 11%, which is actually on the lower end for what I usually get. But my stable coin is just turning into stable coin every day. So if all of a sudden a big fat beach ball comes, I can pull from there and go boom. And I'll have more buying power than if I just saved the money, because it's growing, beating inflation, accumulating nicely passively every single day while I sleep, while I do nothing, passively. Boom. And then take on more risk, Bitcoin ETH SOL. Well, I can sit in Bitcoin ETH SOL, or I can have my Bitcoin ETH in Solana getting about 20% yield, AKA passively turning into more Bitcoin ETH in Solana every day without me putting in more money. If you don't think that's worth $30 with a money back guarantee, if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. If you can't pull the trigger on that, you have a lot bigger problems than you're even aware of. It's true. There's no risk. The $30. If you think it's dog shit, there's your $30 back, keep the course. I do ask that you be honest though, but how are you gonna ask a dishonest person to be honest? I don't know. Other than that, I think that's a good spot to wrap it up today. I gotta go to the restroom and stuff like that. So normally it's $100, which is a steal of a deal anyways, to learn that type of stuff. And it's videos, step by step. Even if you're a total newbie, you'll be able to do it because there's videos showing you step by step by step, okay? And you'll learn a lot of things, and you'll finally learn how to use DeFi, and you'll learn it from where I'm at. I've been in DeFi's entire existence. And these are the things I use. I could put anything in there, anything. And I put these few things in there. Because in my opinion, every single person should be using them. They are the best risk rewards for what to do with stable coins and what to do with your Bitcoin, ETH, and SOL. And they don't involve, their risk is very low, but yet they outperform just being in stable coins, Bitcoin, ETH, and SOL. So that's what I got for you today. 151 minutes I've been on here. It's pretty dope. Hit the follow button or subscribe. I guess it's YouTube. Turn on notifications so you're notified when I go live next time. Maybe I go live tomorrow. What time? I don't know. Maybe I don't go live tomorrow. I don't know. But if you get on notifications, you'll find out. Other than that, I'm out. Really gotta pee. So I'll leave that discount up for like, I don't know, 15 minutes or something, because I'm gonna go to the restroom and do a couple other things and then get on my computer and change it back to 100. But other than that, that's it. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Thanks for hanging out.